Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Amanda. This week I am going to be doing a video which actually didn't happen this week. The second in a series of 3 where I go back and reread books from my childhood. This week I read books from middle school, so in specific I read Divergent by Veronica Roth and I read Maximum Ride by James Patterson. And all of this happened in the past, but I think you'll be able to follow it pretty quickly, and hopefully you are excited to see what I thought about rereading 2 of my favorite books from when I was in middle school. So I just started my first reread for this challenge, and that one happened to be Divergent by Veronica Roth. I'm starting this one first because it just happened to work out for my Bookopalathon rolls, but I picked this up from the thrift store the other day because I don't own the book anymore. I think I originally had it on ebook. I'm 25 pages in and I originally rated this book 5 out of 5 stars. I put it on my favorite shelf. I loved it so much. The whole entire point of this challenge is to see whether or not I like the same books that I used to like, and whether or not my tastes have changed or whether or not I was just bad at reading books back then. And I can say right now, I'm not enjoying this. I'm not enjoying this at all. Like, if it were up to me, I'd quit rereading this book this instance. I have the audiobook from my library borrowed. I am going to put my headphones on and listen to that for a little bit and hope that it picks up some, because I'm really hungry right now, so that could also be part of the problem. So I'm gonna listen to it, make a snack, eat the snack, and then if by the time I finish I'm way more interested in it, I'll go back to reading physically. But if not, then I think I might just finish out with the audiobook and trade this in for something else at my thrift stores. Okay, so I'm about here in the book. It's 157 pages in. I'm still listening to the audiobook instead of reading, although I am doing a little bit of reading while listening every once in a while. I am stopping to make dinner, so I'm gonna just be listening for a bit. I'm enjoying it more now, but definitely not the level I enjoyed it when I was in it middle school when I read this book. It's kind of interesting because right now I am remembering a lot of things that happen in the later parts of the book. Like, as I got introduced to characters, I started to remember like, oh yeah, there's the kid named Peter who, I don't want to spoil it for you all, but I also feel like this book has been out for a really long time. So basically there's like a lot of characters that are kind of introduced because there's this competition between a bunch of them, and as I was being introduced to the characters, all of it came back to me about what happens to them, and it was crazy how much I had forgotten and how much I was able to remember. I think right now if I were to stop the book, it would be a 3-star. I think that the main protagonist, Triss, is really falling into that YA white female protagonist where it's like, I'm super clumsy and not beautiful, but like everyone loves me and I'm great at swords or guns or whatever it happens to be for whichever protagonist it is. It's the whole entire like, I'm not like other girls, I'm better. That's not fun, and I know who the love interest is, so it's kind of just like, ugh. I definitely think that this is a book that for the target audience, it is really good. I think that if you're new to YA dystopian, if you're middle school, maybe even early high school, that you'd love this book. It's what got me really into YA dystopian, and I loved YA dystopian. And ever since I've kind of been in college and I go back to reread some, or I just read for the first time some YA dystopian, I'm just like, boy, I would have loved this in middle school. But now, okay, I am officially on chapter 20, which is 50% through the book. So I decided that it would be fun to stop and take some of those what faction are you in the Divergent universe quizzes. I found 3 and I'm going to try to take them right now. Okay, so the first one up is the Epic Reads one. I'm gonna try my hardest not to get Divergent, so I need to scroll down. Okay, here's the start. Let's start. When you're faced with a difficult problem, you react by making a list of pros and cons, creating a work of art that expresses your feelings, doing the best thing for the greater number of people, debating the issue with your friends, facing it head on. Pros and cons, definitely. You most want your friends and family to see you as someone who is willing to make sacrifices, is liked, is trustworthy, will protect them, offers wise advice. Ooh, either is trustworthy, will protect them, or offers wise advice. I'm gonna go with is trustworthy. That's a hard one. If you had to select one of the following options as a profession, which would you choose? Judge, firefighter, scientist, farmer, humanitarian. Either a judge or a farmer, which are two very different things. Basically, I wouldn't mind being a judge now, but when I retire, I plan on fully being a farmer. So let's do judge right now. What activity would you most likely find yourself doing on an unexpected day off? Something artistic. It'd either be reading or something artistic, but we're going to choose something artistic to be a little different. When choosing your outfit for the day, you select whatever will attract the least amount of attention. Nope, definitely not. Something that will not distract or inhibit you from what you have to do that day. Okay, that is true. Something comfortable but interesting to look at. Also true. Whatever will attract the most attention. Something that's simple but still expresses your personality. I think I'm going to go with this one. The distract myself from the day, because I do tend to dress a little bit more flamboyant-y. I'm just an artist. It's kind of what happens, but I prefer clothing that doesn't restrict me more than anything else. So if you discovered that a friend's significant other was being unfaithful, you would tell your friend ASAP, confront the cheater, sit them both down and act as a mediator, keep it to yourself, tell your friend. I think first I would confront the cheater and then tell them, like, they have to tell my friend. And if they didn't do anything, then I would tell my friend. So we got to go with confront the cheater first. I have no clue what the results are going to be based off of what I've been saying. What would you say is your highest priority in life right now? Success in work, finding peace and happiness, seeking truth, serving those around you, developing strength of character. I definitely think I'm looking for happiness right now, but I'm also looking for success and strength of character. Let's go with happiness because that just sounds nice. Oh God, what is it going to say? Okay, it's calculating my results. I'm not looking. I actually already saw it, so I can't not look. You would be in Candor. That is actually what I used to tell people when I was young and first reading Divergent, because I do like honesty a lot and I can be kind of blunt and honest with people. So cool. Let's take the other two though really quickly to see if it's true. So this is the one from BuzzFeed, and I think this one's gonna be really bad because BuzzFeed quizzes can be quite bad. So what color do you wear the most? I wear a lot of gray, but like that means nothing in this quiz. Pick a phone app. Text. Is text a phone app? I think it's just called iMessage. Instagram. Weather. I check the weather a lot. Let's be boring and choose weather. Pick an emoji. None of the images are available. This one. God. What do you value most? Selflessness, kindness, revenge, honesty, bravery, intelligence. Intelligence? And maybe I should have done honesty. Let's go. Let's see if it'll let me switch. Okay, we're switching to honesty. What's your sin? Oh my God. God, it's between the top three. Let's go with sloth. It's not perfect, but let's just do it. Pick a TV show. Okay, so I've never seen Law & Order, although I do think I'd be interested in it because I love crime TV. I don't know what Girls is. I don't know what Revenge is. I don't watch a ton of TV, so I've read Game of Thrones, but I don't think I'm interested at all in the TV show. I am interested in watching Breaking Bad, but I don't necessarily want to pick it, but I also don't want to be boring. I already picked the weather app earlier. We're gonna be boring. I don't watch TV. I do watch TV though, but not a ton. What are you guilty of? No, definitely not telling lies. Being blunt. Definitely not acting before thinking. Definitely not spending more time at my job. Quitting too easily could be me too. Let's go with being blunt because that's gonna give me candor. Oops, not supposed to say that. What's your dream job? I don't want a job. Oh, astronaut would be fun. Look at her nose. It's such a bad. Hey, doing? Oh, I just want a job. It's not I don't want a job. Let's go with astronaut then. That sounds like fun. Pick your poison. Beer, water, wine, tea, shots, caffeine. Coffee, not caffeine. I am drinking tea right now. I love water. I drink water like all the time, but if I'm having like a guilty pleasure, it's tea. Pick a superpower. Reading minds. Oh, there it is. Pick a phrase you say most. You look nice. I dare you. I knew that. I know you're lying. Can you help me? Need help? I knew that, unfortunately. Hey, look, I got candor again. Okay, so one more. Let's see if I can get candor across the board. Maybe I was right as a small child to pick candor. What trait do you value most? Honesty, friendship, strength, selflessness. Okay, we already know I'm gonna choose honesty. Pick a creature. This is kind of stupid. How will this affect my results? I'm gonna go with that one. What hair color would you like? Red. I want red hair. What do you care about most? Grades, friends, charity, debating, anything that gets my heart rate up. I guess we'll go with friends, but that's definitely not the answer. What do you look for most in a romantic partner? Oh, cool. Choose a weapon to go into battle with. Axe, spear, knife. Oh yeah, all my friends tell me that I'm a knife person. Knife wife. Favorite color? Oh, I love blue, but I also love gray. We're gonna go with blue. Yeah, I'm not even reading the questions out loud to you guys anymore. I apologize. You've been fighting with your best friend. How do you work it out? Just be honest with them. I don't argue with people. Peace serum. Face. Just try again. Enough chatting. Oh my god, this one's so dumb. They're gonna make me Divergent if I click it. Most of the time, I don't argue with people. Not because it's self-indulgent, just because I'd rather just not fight than fight about something unless something really matters to me, in which case I usually explode with all of my opinions and then disappear for long periods of time until they figure it out that they were wrong. So that's not an option. I'm gonna go with I don't argue with people because that's a little bit different than normal. Do you like school? Yeah, I love to learn. Oh my god, I'm in candor again. I really wasn't expecting to get candor for all three of those. No joke. I thought it was gonna be like varied, or I was gonna get divergent and I was gonna have to ignore that, but apparently I'm just candorous. Apparently I'm not erudite because I don't know the right word there. I am a very honest person. I am very blunt and very open and just very, like, everyone knows what my opinions are on them, whether or not I like them. Oh my god, that totally fits. I had this girl in college who I didn't like, and I had to work with her for years, and I actually at one point said to her, I don't like you, but I dislike you less than I used to. Like, I said those words to her, and then she was like, yeah, I could always tell that you didn't like me. And I was like, it's not gonna affect me working with you. I'm professional and I'm still gonna work with you, and I don't dislike you, I just don't like you at all. And we worked together fine for years. I think I said that to her after knowing her for a year, and then I worked with her for 2 more years. Dude, you know what? I am candor. I'm gonna go make some of my other friends take these quizzes because, boy, that was hysterical. Okay, so I am at chapter 28, which means I have 11 chapters left. That's approximately page 350, so I have another 150 pages left, which is just over an hour left on the audiobook. It is 71% through the book. Here's where I'm at. I thought I would do a little check-in with you all. There has been some interesting stuff that's happened. There was some heavy topics that I kind of forgot were in this book. The book deals, of course, with like fear and overcoming fear, but I also forgot about the physical domestic abuse that happens in the book. And then I also forgot about the sexual harassment that happens in the book, leaning almost towards rape to a certain degree. I think part of it was when I was younger, I didn't totally understand what was happening, but I also think part of it was I just forgot about it. Because they make comments like, oh, what did they say? Something about like she's as flat as a child. And I think that if I was in middle school at the time, I might not have put together what that was, but also like I had boobs in middle school, so I might have put it together. I wish I could know what was going through my mind at the time and why I didn't remember some of the things that happened. I'm definitely over the whole entire romance thing. It feels very insta-lovey, especially from his perspective. Like, her starting to have a crush on him is a little bit more believable, and maybe that's just because I'm in her head and I can kind of know what's going on. But with him, it's just kind of like, why do you care about this 16-year-old girl, my dude? You're 18. There's like some really, really good important moments that are happening in the book, but then there's also some like really, really dumb ones that just kind of feel super juvenile to me. I'm enjoying myself. I kind of at this point have no clue what I'm gonna rate this book. Honestly, there's a small part of me that's leaning towards a 3.5, which is kind of ridiculous, honestly. Going to depend a little bit on how it ends, because I remember a lot of what's going to happen still, but I really don't remember the ending of this book. Welcome to After the Book. I have officially finished Divergent by Veronica Roth. I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I felt like in general it wasn't a bad book, especially for it being kind of the beginning of a lot of books like this, but I also felt like now it's not as special as I remember it being. The characters were average, the atmosphere was pretty close to average, the writing was very average, the plot was fine. I would say it was a little bit better than average, especially for being kind of beginning of this. I mean, I know the Hunger Games came before this, and the Hunger Games really started the like sectioning people into different categories, but this one I believe was the first one that kind of did it where it was like based on your personality. I think the plot was a little bit better than average. So 3 stars, you know, not bad, not great. I used to say this was one of my favorite books ever. I would basically tell like everyone to read it. I wouldn't stop talking about it. I remember this is the year that I first got Instagram, and for a while the only accounts I was following were Divergent, like fan counts. So that's kind of interesting. So there were things from those accounts that I remember to this day them posting. And when they came up in the book, I was like, that's the thing they were always talking about. That was kind of interesting. Read it in 2011, so I believe I was in middle school at that time. Yeah, I graduated middle school in 2011, and I don't know at what point in the year I actually read the book. I'm impressed. I definitely thought I was going to like it less, but it held up a little bit stronger than I thought it was going to. I am taking it off of my favorite shelf on Goodreads. I don't know if I'll ever continue on with the sequel. I kind of want to, but also I want to because I remember nothing about what happened in Insurgent, but I want to continue because I rated it 5 stars as well, and I want to change my rating on Goodreads. I have a hard time doing that without rereading a book. First one is done. Apparently middle school me does not hold up with rating preference, does not hold up to post-college me. I have officially started my next childhood reread. Before I show you that book, I just want to come and apologize really quickly. I feel like I need to apologize for me reading this book. You know, I'm not gonna apologize. I'm going to say that when I was young, I really loved this book, and it's okay for you to enjoy things that are dumb, whatever age you're at. So I have officially started Maximum Ride. You can't even see it, it's so shiny. Angel Experiment, which is book 1, and I look at it, like reflects onto me. I am approximately 160 pages in, which is about 30%. I've been reading this for approximately a day now. It's a very quick read. The chapters are like 2-3 pages, and as you can see, and the text is pretty large and it moves quickly. Let me tell you the story of this book. We are following a group of children to teenage years. I believe the youngest in this book is 6 and the oldest is 14, and I believe there are 6 of them. So let's call them kids. Let's just do it. Just get it out there. Call them kids. We're following a group of kids who are part human and part bird. They were experimented on when they were itty bitty babies, and now they have wings and they can fly, and they've escaped this awful place that was experimenting on them, and now they are trying to live their lives out in the world. And the book, the first one, opens up with them being attacked by the school again. It's like in the 2nd chapter, and one of them gets kidnapped, and so the group then has to decide what to do next. So I read this book in middle school, and I loved it so much. I read the entire series. I think now James Patterson has written more since these ones and I've never continued on. I will say after starting this, I'm curious. I'm definitely curious to continue. So I read this in middle school and I continued on and I read the rest of the series as they came out. And after the last one came out, which I think is called Angel, I didn't really like the last one. So I decided to loop back around and start the first one again, which the first time I rated 5 stars. The second time I read this book, I'm not even sure I actually finished it because I wasn't enjoying it at all. I thought that the humor was dumb. I thought that it was juvenile. I just thought that the characters weren't relatable. It wasn't good. At that point, I was in high school and I think I was in like later high school. So I was definitely very pretentious in my reading at that time. And I felt like I, as most high schoolers, wanted to be taken more seriously. So I was going to read more adult books. So whenever I went back and reread books from my past, I tended to not like them and not even be able to look past that it wasn't for me anymore and see the merit that it had, and only see that this is something I liked when I was young and I was dumb then, so this is a dumb book. I like to pride myself in the fact that I think I'm slowly growing out of that. There are definitely times where it's hard to be as open-minded as you were as a child, but this is one of the instances where I feel like I'm succeeding. So I am, like I said, 160 pages in, which is exactly 30% through the book, enjoying myself. There was a giant chunk where I kind of didn't care about what was going on in the book, and I definitely will not be rating this book 5 stars, but I'm having a decent enough time. I actually downloaded the ebook on my phone because my library had it, because I wanted to read last night before bed and I didn't want to have any of the lights on, and I ended up reading about 100 pages on my phone, just sitting there going through it. And I don't know the last time I've enjoyed a physical book enough that I went and downloaded the ebook so I could keep reading it after I wanted the lights out. Actually, I can remember. It was Mistborn and it was 3 years ago. Saying all of that, I'm enjoying myself so far. I wish that I didn't have this thrift store copy. I wish that I had my original copy, but I got rid of all of them. I was pretentious, and I've gotten rid of many books throughout the years because I felt like I was never going to read them again, and now that I'm older, I want to re-look at literature from a different age. So I kind of regret that, and I may or may not be looking into getting the box set of all of these, because I think that I would like to continue on and read the later books in the series. But that means that you here on YouTube can't judge me if, you know, the rest of the year my wrap-ups are me reading Maximum Ride and then the series that James Patterson wrote after it. Here's where I'm at with Maximum Ride. I'm just gonna set this right next to my face and talk to you for a little bit. So I have approximately 110 pages left. Today is the 3rd day of me reading the book. I wanted to read about 100 and something pages every single day, approximately 150, and I managed that the first day. Read maybe 50 pages yesterday, and today I'm trying to make up the difference. So I'm still really enjoying myself, oddly enough. There's definitely like a few things where the language reminds me that the book was written in 2005. For instance, the word fembot was used, and I didn't like that at all. But in general, it has a really good found family, and you can really tell that these kids have gone through trauma because they're not always quite right. Especially Angel, you see a lot of her decisions, more so in the later books, just kind of being the wrong ones, or maybe the right decisions but for the wrong reasons. And so I'm loving it. I also have to admit that I used to have the biggest crush on Fang ever, and I'm so embarrassed by that, but also like rereading this, I get it. Like, I do. It was the dark, silent type, like, that's me. I'm there for it. I'm enjoying my reread a lot, and I weirdly think I'm gonna continue on in the series. Book 2, here I come when I'm done with this one. So I just finished this bad boy. Same day. I went out, showered, changed. I'm done now. Objectively, Was this a good book? I don't know how to answer that. Did I enjoy myself while reading this book? Immensely. Did I see some problematic things in it? Yes. Were any of those things kind of understandable because of when the book was written? No, because things are not understandable just because they were written in a different time. But what I'm trying to say is this book was written in 2005. 2007? 2005 was the original publication date. I kind of understand why the language was the way it was. It wasn't like a ton of things were really bad. It was that every once in a while there would just be kind of a comment that I'd have to brush off. And I would say that in this whole entire 420 page book, there were less than 5 sentences that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. There was the fembot comment about Max not wanting to cook and how she isn't upset because she's not a fembot. There was a comment about Nudge, who is a black girl, and how once she gets her hair straightened, she is beautiful. I'm trying to remember if there were any other ones that really stood out to me. There were some really great one-liners in this book. Like, this is what this book series is known for, is it's easy writing. It's easy to get through. It's digestible. The chapters are a few pages each, and every single chapter leaves off with a cliffhanger. Like, literally every single chapter, they're 2 pages each and they leave off with a cliffhanger. So you get through it really quickly. And then there's these amazing one-liners, which, let me see if I can find my favorite one. I tabbed it on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone, so that doesn't do me any good. Well, I can't find it, but basically the line was that Nudge and Gazzy were looking at Max kind of startled, and then she noticed that Iggy was looking at her. So the line was something like, Nudge and Gazzy were looking at me very confused. Of course, Iggy wasn't looking at anything because Iggy's blind. And it was just kind of like a really weird one-liner that made me chuckle and continue on. Wish I could find it for you because it was much better worded than I did. So yeah, there's a lot of like really funny one-liners. There's a lot of enjoyable moments. I think that one of the things I was impressed with was the diversity in the cast. So not only do you have your token black person, unfortunately, there is only one person of color in the main 6 kids, but that wasn't a good thing. I was gonna talk about good things here and then I said something bad. What I like is that you don't have one token female, because a lot of times in like gangs, especially in the 90s and early 2000s, it would be a group of like 4 or 5 and you'd have one woman, and in this it's split down the middle, which was really nice. Ended up rating it. I had a hard time because the logic and the plot were both very low, because the plot in this book is kind of non-existent. There's like not one thing that you're going for and it's all over the place, and honestly there's a few points in the book where I was like, wait, what are we even doing right now? Like, what is our purpose here? And beats me. And then there'd also be these scenes, like super ex machina scenes, where the bad guys would show up and either like drop off like, oh, a piece of paper that the team needed, I can't believe we left this behind, and then like would run off, or they would like come and attack and like beat up one of the crew members and then like leave instantly. And so there was a lot of that where like basically bad guys would be there for 5 pages and then be gone again. Yeah. Did I say I rated this book a 4 out of 5 stars. This cover's awful. I don't know how well you can see it. Don't look at me, camera. Look. This is not helpful. I'm rambling at this point. So yeah, that didn't turn out exactly how I thought it was going to. I feel like this whole entire series has been going slightly better and yet slightly worse than I originally thought it was going to. I don't really know what to say about that. That's what I thought about these 2 books. I actually now, if you've been keeping up with my videos, have bought a nicer copy of Maximum Ride, and I actually don't think I've said it yet, but I bought books 1 through 4. I am continuing on with them. I'm in book 3 right now, I'll say that much. Thank you for watching. Let me know down below if you've read either of these books or if you've reread them since you read them back when you were younger. I know many of us read at least Divergent when we were wee little youngins. If you've reread it since then, let me know what you thought, because I'm really curious to know if it held up as well for you or if you thought it was worse or what. Anyways, I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I will talk to you all in the comments. Bye!